Hey guys, this is Sundown Rider here, and this is going to be my chapter review to Fairy Tale 506, Broken Bonds. So we get the cover page, which is a top naked Erza talking about sorrow with a floral background. It's not really anything special, it's just, a bit of fan service. You don't really get to see that much, but, people get into that. So we go straight into the first page, where everyone's crying at Makarov's death, and Mavis reminisces to the time that she was asked to name him by Makarov's mom and became his parent. Now, I didn't realize that she was classified as like his adoptive parent or anything. I didn't know that. I haven't read Fairy Tale Zero. Did you guys know that? Is that a thing? I didn't know that. Once again, I'm just shocked because I didn't think Makarov was raised by Mavis, but it makes sense because he's able to use fairy lore. So yeah, it seems weird at first, but it makes sense that he was raised by Mavis. So Laxus, so Mavis is crying as well at Makarov's death, and Laxus, who has maintained his composure, puts a hand on Mavis's shoulder while she's crying, saying there are still enemies near, and they need her strategies to come out of this war alive, to continue forward. So, and I was just thinking all the while he said that, a lot of good her strategies have done so far. So far she's been the worst character out of everyone. She hasn't done jack, and he's like, yeah, we still need your strategies. What strategies has she implemented so far that has actually outwitted Zeref and his guys, and saved them a lot of pain, a lot of time, whatever. So yeah, whenever they say we need you for your strategies, it's a load of bullshit. So he then says, do it for the old man's sake too, do it for Makarov's sake. So we then get Erza moving over to Makarov's dead body, and she prostrates in thanks to him for raising her. So we then go to the Fairy Tale Guild, where Zeref he asks Eileen about the damage report from Fairy Lore. Eileen says 70 to 80% of their number are gone. 70 to 80% of their army are gone. So Zeref then says he'd expect nothing less of Makarov, and he knew that Makarov was going to be like some ace in the hole, and that he underestimated the magic he taught Mavis. So he knew Fairy Lore was going to be beast, but he didn't expect it to be like next level, but he expects nothing less from Makarov. So Eileen says the 12 are all okay, as they would be. So the flow of battle is unlikely to change. What? What? Seriously? So this is the most dumb, is she dumb comment she's ever made, and she's probably likely to make in Fairy Tale. 70 to 80% of their army are gone. The majority of Fairy Tale's members were having difficulty because of 70 to 80% of that army. Now that they're missing, no shit, the flow of battle is about to change. It's going to change big time. So that's the most stupid comment I've seen, and that actually lessens the rating of the chapter a little bit, because that's the dumbest comment I've heard. 70 to 80% of your army's lost, and that's not going to change the flow of battle because you've still got the Spriggan 12. The Spriggan 12 have been scrubbed so far, so yeah, that was a stupid comment. So we then go to Natsu versus Grey, who are kicking the crap out of each other. Natsu's arm has taken on a really scaly appearance. It's like this blackened scaled form. Looks awesome. But it's hard to tell if it's actually scaly or if it's just like that through the flames, because it's hard to see through the flames. So Grey gets slammed through a wall, and his ice fragments, which were like part of his attack, they all shatter, and the ice fragments attack Natsu, but he dodges them and destroys them all with his flame moves, and it's pretty sick. He's just destroying them all, exploding them. So Grey then freezes Natsu's foot and freezes him in place, and then fires like an ice beam. I didn't think he could I didn't know he could use ice beams, but it seems he can. And he fires an ice beam to Natsu's face, and Natsu gets hit in his cheek, I think it is, and he flips back, and he flips back upright because we know he's very athletic in that. And he drives his hand into the ground and lets out a pillar of flame next to where Grey was. And this is very reminiscent of when Naruto went Four Tails for the first time, and he drove his hands into the ground and they blew up out of the ground like that. Exactly like that. So so he drives his hand into the ground and lets out a pillar of flame next to Grey, and it seems he lets out several of them. And here you can see in these panels that Natsu, both of his arms have taken on a very like a blackened form. They're not even scaly, they just look like solid black claws from his elbows down. So Grey freezes the pillars of flame and then gets hit by Natsu's Kari no Hoko, but he doesn't say Kari no Hoko because he's kind of lost his mind. So Natsu then flies in to further his attack, and Grey forms a wall to imprison Natsu, and then piles on top of it to imprison Natsu. So Natsu explodes out of it like it's nothing. He just bops out and Grey's obviously like shit, but you don't see his face. And then they shout each other's names and prepare for the final punch. So Natsu flies in from the sky with these menacing flames flying off his arm, and Grey stands at the ready, and they attack each other with a huge amount of force. They just like ripples of energy just flying everywhere. And Natsu looks like he'd pretty much lost himself at this point. He looks like he's pretty much lost himself. His eyes are blank. His face is all like, yeah, he's just got jagged teeth. He looks like his when he's messing around and he's got jagged teeth and a flamey tongue, but he looks a bit more menacing. And Grey seems aware and conscious, but he's still stupid, because this whole fight is stupid. So they both ready their alternate arms, their other arms, which they didn't punch with. So I assume it's both of their left arms, and they ready themselves for the final attack. They then attack each other, like getting ready for another fist clash thing. And Erza intercepts both their attacks. She's in the middle and she's kind of like this, and she just intercepts both their attacks. One arm kind of getting burnt, and one arm freezing and cracking due to the extreme cold of Grey's attack. So I'd like to point out here that Natsu's claw fist is huge. It's absolutely massive. Erza's hand is tiny compared to it. And Erza, through her tears, asks them what the hell they're doing. So we then see Natsu's transformation. We don't even get to see it reverse gradually. It reverses instantly. And his eyes are just like, oh, what's happening here? And Grey seems shaken. He's just like tears. So he's obviously surprised that Erza's crying. I don't think they both should have seen Erza cry by now, but it's, fairy tale. So overall, it was a decent chapter. There were a couple things wrong with it. The Makarov part was aight. It was pretty good. We got to see Erza thank Makarov. But instantly, the first thing that came to mind was Erza so close to Natsu and Grey that she was able to run from the battlefield to where they were and stop their attack, even though she was kind of in remorse and mourning Makarov's death. So she must have run real hard to get there in time. Even then, I'm not sure if she was close enough. So yeah, the Makarov part was aight. The Eileen part was stupid. That was the height of stupidity right there. For her to say that 70 to 80% of their army has been abolished, but that won't change the tide of the battle. You're stupid. You're big time stupid. So the Grey versus Natsu fight was decent. It was pretty good. I like the actual fight. The actual fight scene was really good, but I felt Grey was doing better than he should have been doing. He should have been getting wrecked. So yeah, like I say, Natsu should have been destroying him. People were saying Grey was becoming more and more terrified as the fight was going on. Like, he wasn't obviously like solidly terrified, but he was becoming more and more scared as the fight went on. And there was an element of desperation in his fighting style. I mean, like, he was trying to imprison Natsu by the end rather than attack Natsu. And it did seem a bit desperate. So maybe that final attack that Natsu did would have taken him out. And if it hadn't, Natsu hadn't fully transformed into END by the looks of things anyway. And the greatest issue really with this chapter is, even though I don't really want her to die, but Erza being attacked by Grey and Natsu with almost their ultimate attacks, basically. They were going in for the kill there. She intercepts and stops both attacks without at least falling unconscious. She's fine. I mean, one arm's burnt, one arm's starting to crack. Nothing Wendy can't fix, obviously. But she should almost have been dead because of stopping that attack. She should have been severely injured by stopping that attack. So I'm not sure what you guys thought about that, but I thought that was a little bit iffy. But yeah, overall a 3 out of 5. I'm giving it just above average. The fight scenes were good, and the Makarov part, like I said last chapter, I really like Makarov. I like to see his kind of farewell thing. I like that Laxus, out of everybody, maintained his composure, because he's probably going to be the next guild master. But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what theories you guys have so I can theorize with you guys, and yeah, we can talk about it and everything. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys later.